In the heart of Rajasthan, amidst the golden sands and rocky cliffs, lies the magnificent Ranthambore National Park. This sprawling reserve, once the hunting grounds of Maharajas, is now a sanctuary for some of India's most majestic creatures, none more revered than the Bengal tiger. The dense forests, punctuated by ancient ruins and serene lakes, provide a backdrop of both beauty and mystery. Here, the tiger reigns supreme, a symbol of power and grace. Within this kingdom, a young tiger named Shere roamed. Born to a powerful tigress Kaali, Shere was the embodiment of raw strength and untamed beauty. His coat, a vibrant orange adorned with bold black stripes, shimmered in the dappled sunlight. His eyes, piercing and intelligent, missed nothing as he navigated the rugged terrain of his domain. From a young age, Shere exhibited the traits of a leader. He was strong, cunning, and fearless. As Shere grew, he began to understand the ways of the jungle. He learned to stalk silently through the underbrush, his body low and muscles coiled, ready to spring. He mastered the art of patience, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce on unsuspecting prey. His prowess in hunting earned him respect and fear from the other inhabitants of Ranthambore. Yet, despite his burgeoning skills, Shere was also aware of the delicate balance that governed the jungle. The fragile ecosystem relied on the interactions between predator and prey, the ebb and flow of life and death. Shere's mother, Kaali, imparted this wisdom to him through her actions and teachings. She taught him to respect the land and the creatures that shared it, for they were all part of the same intricate web of life. Kaali's lessons were not only about survival, but also about humility. She emphasized that being the apex predator did not grant one the right to dominate without regard. She told Shere stories of tigers who had become arrogant and reckless, leading to their downfall. These tales served as a stark reminder that power must be wielded with responsibility and respect. Shere listened, absorbing his mother's wisdom, but the thrill of the hunt and the admiration of the other animals often led him to moments of hubris. He enjoyed the fear he inspired and the reverence he commanded. He saw himself as the undisputed king of Ranthambore, believing that his strength and skill made him invincible. However, life in the jungle is fraught with challenges that test even the mightiest of beings, and Shere's journey was only beginning. The monsoon season descended upon Ranthambore with a ferocity that transformed the landscape. Torrential rains turned dry riverbeds into raging torrents, and the once parched earth bloomed with lush greenery. The jungle, rejuvenated by the downpour, became a maze of dense foliage and slippery trails. For Shere, this season brought both abundance and peril. The heavy rains made hunting more difficult. Prey animals, sensing the danger, became more elusive, seeking refuge in the thick undergrowth. Shere found himself struggling to adapt to the new challenges. His usual hunting grounds were flooded, and the familiar paths he had mastered were now treacherous. Hunger gnawed at his belly, and frustration clouded his mind. One stormy night, driven by desperation, Shere ventured into unfamiliar territory. He followed the scent of a herd of deer, hoping for an easy kill. The rain beat down relentlessly, masking his presence and making the ground beneath his paws unstable. As he closed in on the herd, a sudden movement caught his eye, a flash of white and black amidst the foliage. It was a young tigress, her coat a striking contrast to the dark jungle. She moved with a grace that matched his own, her eyes sharp and focused. Intrigued and slightly irked by her intrusion, Shere decided to observe her. She approached the herd with remarkable patience, her movements calculated and deliberate. In one swift motion, she brought down a deer, her powerful jaws clamping down on its neck. Shere watched in awe and envy. The tigress had succeeded where he had failed. Swallowing his pride, he approached her, hoping to share in the spoils. She regarded him with a wary but curious gaze, her eyes reflecting the lightning that streaked across the sky. Without a word, she stepped back, allowing him to feed. It was an unexpected gesture of generosity in a world where survival often meant looking out for oneself. As they ate, Shere introduced himself, learning that her name was Noor. She had recently migrated to this part of the jungle, seeking new hunting grounds. Noor spoke of her own struggles, how she had been forced to adapt to the monsoon's challenges. Her humility and willingness to share her knowledge left a profound impression on Shere. Over the following weeks, Shere and Noor formed an unlikely alliance. They hunted together, shared shelter from the relentless rains, and navigated the transformed landscape as a team. Noor's presence was a reminder of the lessons his mother had taught him, that strength and skill were not enough. Humility, cooperation, and the ability to learn from others were equally important. Shere began to see the jungle through new eyes. He appreciated the resilience of the prey animals, the ingenuity of the smaller creatures, and the interconnectedness of their lives. He realized that true mastery of his domain required more than brute force. It required an understanding of the delicate balance that sustained the jungle. As the monsoon season waned, the jungle began to dry, and the rivers receded to their normal courses. The vibrant green of the foliage slowly gave way to the familiar earthy tones of Ranthambore. Shere, now stronger and wiser, felt a sense of calm and purpose that he had never experienced before. His partnership with Noor had taught him invaluable lessons in humility and cooperation. Word of Shere's exploits and his newfound wisdom spread through the jungle. Other tigers, once wary of him, began to seek his counsel. He became a mediator in disputes over territory, his fair judgment earning him respect among his peers. Shere's reputation grew not just as a formidable hunter, but as a wise and just leader. One day, a young tiger named Banu approached Shere. Banu was inexperienced and eager, much like Shere had been in his youth. He sought Shere's guidance in navigating the challenges of the jungle. Shere saw a reflection of his younger self in Banu and took him under his wing, teaching him the lessons he had learned from Kaali and Noor. Banu's presence reignited Shere's memories of his own journey. He recounted his mother's stories, the struggles of the monsoon, and the partnership with Noor. Banu listened intently, absorbing every piece of wisdom. Shere emphasized the importance of humility, respect for the land, and the need to see beyond one's own strength. Shere's leadership extended beyond the tigers. Other animals began to recognize his role in maintaining the balance of the jungle. The deer and antelope no longer saw him as a mere predator, but as a guardian of their home. The smaller creatures, like monkeys and birds, brought news of changes in the jungle, trusting Shere to act in the best interest of all. However, not everyone was pleased with Shere's rise to prominence. A rival tiger named Raka, known for his brute force and aggression, saw Shere's growing influence as a threat. Raka believed that the jungle should be ruled through fear and dominance, and he was determined to challenge Shere's authority. One fateful day, Raka confronted Shere near the ancient ruins that marked the heart of Ranthambore. The tension between the two tigers was palpable, their roars echoing through the jungle. Raka challenged Shere to a fight for supremacy, confident in his own strength. Shere, however, had learned that true strength lay in wisdom and restraint. He tried to reason with Raka, to make him understand that the jungle thrived when its inhabitants worked together. But Raka's pride and anger blinded him to Shere's words. The fight was inevitable. The battle between Shere and Raka was fierce and brutal. They clashed with raw power, their roars shaking the very ground they fought on. But Shere's experience and agility gave him the upper hand. He anticipated Raka's moves, using his knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver his opponent. In the end, Shere emerged victorious, but he did not deliver the final blow. Instead, he stood over Raka, his breath heavy and eyes filled with a mixture of sorrow and determination. He spared Raka's life, a powerful gesture of mercy and humility. Shere's actions sent a clear message to the jungle, that true leadership was not about domination, but about understanding and compassion. After his victory over Raka, Shere sought deeper wisdom to understand his role as a leader better. He visited Nandi, an old elephant living under an ancient banyan tree. Nandi shared stories of the jungle's history, emphasizing the interconnectedness of all creatures and the importance of maintaining balance. Next, Shere met Bhura, an aged crocodile, who taught him the virtues of patience and strategic thinking. Bhura's tales of ancient conflicts resolved through understanding resonated deeply with Shere. Finally, Shere spoke with Kaali, a venerable eagle, who imparted the significance of perspective and foresight, urging Shere to consider the long-term impacts of his decisions. These encounters profoundly influenced Shere, reinforcing the lessons his mother and Noor had imparted. He returned to his territory with a renewed sense of purpose, mentoring Banu and fostering cooperation among the jungle's inhabitants. Shere's leadership evolved to be more inclusive and thoughtful, ensuring the jungle thrived under his guidance. As Shere aged, he contemplated his legacy and the future of Ranthambore. He called Banu to the ancient banyan tree and declared him the new leader, imparting final lessons on humility, respect, and compassionate leadership. Banu, deeply honored, vowed to uphold Shere's teachings. Shere introduced Banu to the jungle's elders and animals, ensuring a smooth transition. The respect Shere commanded was now extended to Banu, who embraced his new role with dedication. With Banu leading, Shere spent his remaining days in peaceful reflection, wandering the jungle he loved. One evening, under a starlit sky, Shere found a secluded hilltop where he rested, content with his life's work. Shere's story became a timeless legend in Ranthambore. His legacy of humility, wisdom, and compassion continued to guide the jungle, inspiring future generations to seek harmony and balance and to understand the true essence of strength and leadership.